Greetings. This is Brother Eli with another episode of Bible Truth Revealed. Today's topic is, did Jesus fulfill Zechariah chapter 9 verses 9 to 10? Did Jesus fulfill Zechariah chapter 9 verses 9 to 10? Christians and Christianlites constantly claim that the prophet Zechariah prophesied about their false god and idol, Jesus Christ. So, today we will examine Zechariah chapter 9, verses 9 to 10 to see whether it is really about Jesus Christ. When I read this passage, we will identify 4 criteria that must be satisfied for this prophecy to be fulfilled. Criteria number 1, he must be the king of Zion. The person who fulfills this prophecy must be the king of Zion. We'll find that in verse 9. Number 2, he must be a savior. That is also in verse 9. Criteria number 3, he must establish peace on earth. That is in verse 10. And finally, criteria number 4, he must rule over the entire earth. That is also in verse 10. I will be reading Zechariah chapter 9 verses 9 to 10 from the Brenton Septuagint translation. That's Zechariah chapter 9 verses 9 to 10. It reads thus. Verse 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Proclaim it aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, the king is coming to thee. So this is how we know that the person that fulfilled this prophecy has to be the king of Zion. Or in other words, the king of the Israelites, or the king of the Jews. Only the king of Zion could fulfill this prophecy. It continues, just and a savior. So this king has to also be a savior. This prophecy cannot be fulfilled by someone who is not a savior. He is meek and riding on an ass and a young foal. Verse 10, and he shall destroy the chariots out of Ephraim, and the horse out of Jerusalem, and the bow of war shall be utterly destroyed, and there shall be abundance and peace out of the nations. So this king, who is a savior, is going to destroy the weapons of warfare out of all Israel. Why? Because there will be no more need for Israel to fight, to defend themselves when this prophecy comes true. Because there will be abundant peace among all nations. This is peace on earth. And he shall rule over the waters as far as the sea, and the rivers to the ends of the earth. So all over the earth where there is peace, he will rule. That's why criteria number 4 is that he must rule over the entire earth. Now let's read Matthew chapter 21 verses 1 to 5 to see why Christians and Christianlites believe that this prophecy is about Jesus Christ. That's Matthew chapter 21, verses 1 to 5. And it reads thus. Verse 1. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem and were come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Jesus 2 disciples, verse 2, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them and bring them unto me. Verse 3, And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord hath need of them, and straightway he will send them. Verse 4, All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, verse 5, Tell ye the daughter of Zion, Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and a colt the foal of an ass. So criteria number 1, he must be the king of Zion. Notice that the pagan who wrote Matthew's gospel acknowledges that Zechariah's prophecy is about the king of Zion, or in other words, the king of the Jews. This means that any random person can't just ride into Jerusalem on a donkey and fulfill Zechariah's prophecy. Only a king of the Jews can fulfill this prophecy. All the kings of Zion were officially anointed and crowned as king. Jesus, on the other hand, was never anointed or crowned as king. In fact, in John chapter 6, some Jews tried to make him king, but he fled into the mountain like a little punk because he did not want to be king of the Jews. John chapter 6, verse 15. John chapter 6, verse 15 reads thus. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. So he ran away like a little punk when they tried to make him king of the Jews. As Jesus was not king of the Jews, we can be sure that Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9 has absolutely nothing to do with him. Criteria number 2, he must be a savior. The Cambridge Dictionary defines the word savior as a person who saves someone from danger or harm. According to the Christian fable, Jesus Christ was put to death like a common criminal. He did not save the Israelites from danger or harm. Therefore, we can be certain that Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9 has absolutely nothing to do with him. For evidence that Jesus did not save anyone from danger or harm, please listen to my teaching entitled, What Did Christ Redeem Us From? What did Christ redeem us from? Criteria number 3, he must establish peace on earth. In Matthew chapter 10 verse 34, the fictional character Jesus Christ said the following, and I quote, Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. This is the complete opposite of what is expected of the person that fulfills Zechariah chapter 9, verse 10. If Christians and Christianlites really believe the words attributed to Jesus in the so-called New Testament, they should also believe when he said that he did not come to establish peace on earth. We only have to turn on the news to see that Jesus did not establish peace on earth. Therefore, Zechariah chapter 9 verse 10 has absolutely nothing to do with him. Criteria number 4, he must rule over the entire earth. Jesus Christ is a fictitious character that was created by the Romans to lead the Israelites into idolatry. As such, he did not and will not rule over the entire earth. For details of this fact, please listen to my teaching entitled, Jesus Christ Never Existed. Jesus Christ never existed. Jesus did not satisfy any of the criteria required to fulfill Zechariah chapter 9, verses 9 to 10. Yet many Christians and Christianlites believe that he will do these things when he comes back. The truth is that Jesus is not coming back. He can't come back because he was never here in the first place. He never existed. Zechariah chapter 9 verses 9 to 10 is a future prophecy that has not yet been fulfilled. When it is fulfilled, it will be obvious to everyone everywhere because there will be peace on earth. For details of the real King of the Jews, who will fulfill Zechariah chapter 9, verses 9 to 10, and every other genuine Messianic prophecy, I recommend my teaching entitled, Is Jesus Really the Messiah? Is Jesus really the Messiah? I pray that the Most High will continue to wake up his people that are being deceived by the fairy tale New Testament and its fictional character, Jesus Christ. And with that, I say, Shalom. And remember, if you find these teachings beneficial and would like to hear more, please like, share, and subscribe.